Hey everyone, CTNtechnologynews here, and today I'm reviewing iOS 7, Apple's latest update for the mobile operating system. Now iOS 7 gives iOS a radical new look, and some first for Apple features for iPhone and iPad fans, like quick access system controls and notifications, automatic app updates, Apple's AirDrop file sharing system, and the excellent iTunes Radio streaming music app. Now before I begin this review, I do want to say that I am reviewing iOS 7 for the iPad 2, so it doesn't have all the new features like AirDrop and some of the new camera features, but it should provide you with, a general feel for iOS 7, and it should make you see whether you like the new look or whether you think that Apple did not do so well with the design of iOS 7. But with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the review. So let's start by talking about design. Gone are the skeuomorphic interface elements that make icons and apps look like leather or paper or felt. Gone too are the 3D icon effects. Flat graphics and a pastel color scheme bring an elegant look. New zooming animations feel sleek as you open and close apps. When you move your phone or tablet, 3D parallax effects make your wallpaper appear some distance behind the icons. The design does take some getting used to, and not everyone will agree, but I do like it. It makes this iPad feel new, and like a new wristwatch makes me want to keep on looking at it. Now circles also enter the design language along with visuals that look nearly transparent, like a pane of glass. There's not much in the way of customization or themes, but your passcode and phone dialing screens take on the color of your background, which successfully ties the look together. The most important part of any deep design work is that it feels smooth and connected from screen to screen, and after some time spent with iOS 7, I do think it delivers an elegant overall experience. One word of warning is that the overall look is completely different across the board from the core Apple apps to more minor interface elements, and some will probably find the changes jarring at first. The most important thing to note though is that even though it looks entirely different, it's still easy to pick up and use right away because the core functionality is largely the same. So let's start with one of the biggest changes for iOS 7, Control Center. One of the few actually new features to come to iOS is Control Center, which finally puts your most used settings front and center and is available from any screen. In iOS 7 you can swipe up from the bottom of the display to bring up quick access tools such as Wi-Fi and Bluetooth access, brightness, airplane mode, and music controls. Control Center also integrates a new flashlight tool, signaling the death of so many third-party flashlight apps, but you also have quick access to setting an alarm or opening the calculator or a camera. Now in your notifications pull-down menu, 3 tabs show you all your new alerts, the calls and messages you missed, and a new Today pane that tracks what you have scheduled for the day. It's a small but useful expansion of the current notifications pull-down. One thing I noticed is that the notifications do seem to take up a bit more space, so you'll need to scroll to see everything. It's slightly annoying, but it's not a big deal. Now let's talk about Safari. In addition to iOS 7's Safari overhaul, the biggest change to the browser is a unified search and URL field. The fact that past versions kept the two separate for some time was a usability thorn in our side. The long overdue update that combines them into one is therefore both gratifying and enraging, since it was such a small tweak that every other mobile OS has been taking advantage of for years. There's also more flexibility with open browser windows as well. Instead of swiping left and right to view open windows, they now preview as vertically scrolling rectangular cards, think like Cover Throw from Mac OS X, and look similar to what we've seen on some Android smartphones. You're no longer limited to just 8, and you can swipe them away to the side to close them just as with Android. Scroll bars also disappear until you need them, a feature I have seen in a lot of browsers before, and swiping left or right takes you forward a page, which is really useful. Now, to note a few other useful additions, a new filter sorts out links from people you follow on Twitter and makes it easy to retweet them. You can now bring up the bookmark screen to see 3 tabs across the top for your bookmarks, reading lists, and Twitter followers. iOS automatically grabs the most recent tweets with associated links, and I think of it as kind of a unique way to browse through who I follow on Twitter, even though I'm actually not signed in on this iPad. Now let's talk about the camera. Apple did a lot of work reorganizing both the camera and how images look in the Photo app. The camera app surfaces all your shooting modes so you can swipe and then tap them to frame your shot, such as still, panorama, video, and a square Instagram-like configuration. The app also offers a basic burst mode in which you touch and hold the main button to take continuous shots from which to pick the best one later. A nice colorful button in the lower right will let you apply filters to the still or square shots. Now in the Photos app, Apple has dropped the endless wall of photos from iOS 6 that you could only break out into albums. With iOS 7, Apple treats the photos as moments in time organized around geotagged locations, not just chronology, and takes a cue from Apple's desktop iPhoto counterpart. Now, what that means is that your photos are categorized by year in a dense mosaic. You can touch and hold the screen to zoom into a picture from the group, then drag your finger to view other photos. Now, the biggest change I would say in iOS 7 is iTunes Radio. Gunning for Pandora, Google Music, Spotify, Slacker Radio, and pretty much any other music service, Apple's new iTunes Radio expands the pre-existing iTunes with familiar features that include radio stations you can build around a favorite artist and featured stations. Of course, iTunes Radio is tied to your Apple ID, so you can use it wherever you have iTunes installed. It's free and will be ad-free for iTunes Match users. Now, also, another new feature on iOS 7 is FaceTime audio. The days of abandoning FaceTime every time you want to make a straight audio call from your iOS device are coming to a close. High-quality calls over Wi-Fi complement video calls for those who would rather talk without racking up huge long-distance calls. Now, one thing I did notice in my testing is that you can go from a FaceTime audio call to a video call without hanging up, but that's probably just a minor point. Now, one of the last features that is new in iOS 7 is automatic app updates. That's right, you no longer have to worry about going into the App Store and updating your apps, and this is another really helpful feature. Now, probably the last really cool feature in iOS 7 is multitasking. Now, Apple does like its rivals' approaches to multitasking. Now, double tapping the home screen brings up not just tiny thumbnails of your open apps, but also a tall preview of what you're looking at, not unlike on a Windows Phone device. And borrowing from Android's recent app list overhaul, swiping the preview upward in iOS quits the app completely. Now, as far as which devices will work with iOS 7, iOS 7 will run on the iPhone 4, 4S, 5, 5C, and 5S. It will not work on the 3GS. As for the iPad, iOS 7 will run on the iPad 2, the one I'm using, the iPad mini, and the newer iPad, but still not the original. iPod Touch users need the 5th generation of the device to upgrade. Now, the larger question might be, what features will work on my device? For instance, on older devices like I'm using, you're not going to be getting Siri, you're not going to be getting AirDrop, you're not going to be getting Panorama, and you're not going to be getting a fingerprint scanner. It's just the way it goes. It's too bad, but Apple is known for not including every feature on their older devices. If you want the full experience of iOS 7, you're going to need to get an iPhone 5, 5S, or 5C. Now, if I do end up getting one of these devices, I will be reviewing the full version of iOS 7, but until then, please let me know what you think of iOS 7 in the comments below. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this review, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.